Tonight, I want you to imagine something that might break your brain a little bit. Picture yourself standing at a cosmic finish line, holding the most powerful flashlight ever created. You point it forward and switch it on. Light shoots out at 186,000 miles per second. Now imagine you start running forward as fast as you possibly can while holding that flashlight. Does the light beam speed up? Does it go 186,000 miles per second plus your running speed? Your intuition screams yes, of course it should. After all, if you're on a train and throw a baseball forward, that baseball travels at the speed you threw it, plus the speed of the train. This is basic physics, right? Well, here's where the universe decides to shatter everything you thought you knew about reality. No matter how fast you run, no matter how fast you travel, that light beam will always move away from you at exactly the same speed. 186,000 miles per second, not a fraction faster. And this isn't just some quirky property of light. This is the fundamental speed limit of the universe itself. Nothing, absolutely nothing, can go faster than light. Not spaceships, not information, not even the universe's expansion in certain regions. This speed isn't just fast, it's the cosmic constant that holds reality together. But here's what will really mess with your head. The reason nothing can go faster than light has almost nothing to do with light itself. Light just happened to be the first thing we discovered that travels at this cosmic speed limit. The real limit isn't about photons or electromagnetic radiation. It's about the very fabric of space-time and how causality, the basic relationship between cause and effect, works in our universe. If you find comfort in these gentle explorations of the deepest mysteries of physics, I'd be grateful if you consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. Tonight, we're embarking on a journey through one of the most profound discoveries in all of science. Feel free to close your eyes, breathe deep, and let your mind drift through the cosmic implications of universal speed limits as we explore why the universe has built-in boundaries that nothing can cross. Also, I'd love to know where you're listening from tonight. Comment your time and location below. There's something beautifully humbling about contemplating these cosmic speed limits while scattered across our planet, all of us bound by the same fundamental laws of physics, all of us existing within the same universal constraints that govern everything from the smallest particles to the largest galaxies. Let's begin. The story of why nothing can go faster than light starts in the most unlikely place. Not in some advanced physics laboratory or with exotic particles, but with the simple act of walking down a train platform in the early 1900s. Albert Einstein, then just a patent clerk in Switzerland, was thinking about something that had been bothering physicists for decades. Light seemed to behave differently than everything else in the universe. When you're sitting on a train and another train passes by, you can calculate exactly how fast that other train is moving relative to you. If both trains are going 50 miles per hour in opposite directions, they appear to approach each other at 100 miles per hour. This is called relative motion, and it makes perfect sense. Speeds add and subtract depending on your frame of reference, but light refused to play by these rules. No matter how fast you were moving toward a light source or away from it, light always seemed to travel at the same speed. Scientists had been measuring this for years, and it was driving them absolutely crazy. It violated every intuition about how motion should work. Einstein realized that everyone had been asking the wrong question. Instead of asking why light behaves so strangely, He asked a different question. What if light isn't the weird one? What if light is revealing something fundamental about the universe itself? This question led to one of the most revolutionary insights in human history. Einstein proposed that space and time aren't separate, fixed things that exist independently. Instead, they're woven together into a single fabric called space-time. And this fabric has properties that limit how fast information can travel through it. Think of it this way. Imagine you're trying to send a message across a vast ocean. You can't make the message travel faster than the waves can carry it across the water. The ocean itself sets the speed limit. In our universe, space-time is like that ocean, and the speed of light is like the maximum speed that waves can travel across it. But this cosmic speed limit isn't really about light at all. It's about causality, the fundamental relationship between causes and effects. If information could travel faster than light, it would create paradoxes that would tear apart the logical structure of reality itself. Here's why. In Einstein's universe, time isn't the same for everyone. If you're moving very fast, relative to someone else, time actually passes more slowly for you. This isn't just theoretical. We've measured it with atomic clocks on airplanes. Time literally runs slower when you're moving fast. Now imagine if you could send a message faster than light to someone who's moving very fast relative to you. Because of the way time works at high speeds, that person could potentially receive your message before you sent it. They could then send a message back to you, also faster than light, and you might receive their reply before you sent your original message. This would create a causal loop. Effects happening before causes. Messages arriving before they're sent. The logical structure of reality would collapse. Cause and effect, the foundation of how we understand everything from physics to philosophy, would become meaningless. The universe seems to have built-in protection against this kind of paradox. The speed of light isn't just a speed limit for particles or waves. It's a speed limit for causality itself. It's the fastest that cause and effect can propagate through space-time. This is why we call it c in physics equations. It's not really the speed of light. It's the speed of causality, the speed of information, the speed at which the universe updates itself. Light just happens to travel at this speed because photons have no mass. Anything without mass must travel at exactly this cosmic speed limit. But what happens when you try to go faster? This is where the universe gets really clever about enforcing its speed limit. As you accelerate closer and closer to the speed of light, several strange things start happening. First, time begins to slow down for you relative to the rest of the universe. Second, your mass effectively increases, meaning it takes more and more energy to accelerate you further. Third, from the perspective of outside observers, you appear to contract in the direction you're traveling. These aren't just side effects, they're features of space-time itself, automatic mechanisms that prevent anything with mass from ever reaching, let alone exceeding, the cosmic speed limit. Let's explore what this means in practical terms. Imagine you're in a spaceship trying to reach the speed of light. As you accelerate faster and faster, you need more and more energy to go just a little bit faster. The amount of energy required approaches infinity as you approach light speed. You would literally need infinite energy to reach the speed of light, which is impossible. Meanwhile, time is passing more and more slowly for you compared to everyone else. If you somehow manage to reach 99.9% of light speed, time would crawl by at a snail's pace. A journey that takes you 1 year might correspond to decades or centuries passing on Earth. But even if you had infinite energy and could somehow reach light speed, you'd face another problem. Your mass would become infinite. An object with infinite mass would collapse into a black hole, creating such extreme gravitational effects that it would fundamentally alter space-time around it. The universe has essentially made it impossible for anything with mass to reach the cosmic speed limit. It's not just difficult or impractical. It's mathematically impossible within the laws of physics as we understand them. This raises fascinating questions about the nature of reality itself. Why does the universe have this speed limit? Is it truly fundamental? Or might there be deeper layers of reality that we haven't discovered yet? Some physicists have speculated about theoretical particles called tachyons that would always travel faster than light. But if such particles exist, they would inhabit a strange realm where they could never slow down to light speed, just as we can never speed up to it. They would experience time backwards and create all sorts of causality paradoxes. No one has ever detected a tachyon, and most physicists doubt they exist. The universe seems to be very good at preventing violations of causality, but the cosmic speed limit creates other puzzles. How can the universe itself expand faster than light? In the early moments after the Big Bang, space itself was expanding so rapidly that distant regions were separating faster than light could travel between them. Even today, the most distant galaxies we can observe are moving away from us faster than light due to the expansion of space. The key insight is that the speed limit applies to objects moving through space, not to space itself. Space can expand, contract, or warp in ways that don't violate the cosmic speed limit because space isn't moving through space-time. Space is space-time. This distinction becomes crucial when we think about concepts like wormholes or warp drives. These theoretical constructs don't violate the cosmic speed limit because they involve manipulating space-time itself rather than moving through it at high speeds. A wormhole, if such things exist, would create a shortcut through space-time. You wouldn't be traveling faster than light. You'd be taking a different path through the fabric of reality, potentially arriving at your destination before light, taking the long way around the normal geometry of space. Similarly, a theoretical warp drive wouldn't accelerate you to faster than light speeds. Instead, it would compress space in front of you and expand space behind you, carrying you along in a bubble of warped space-time. From your perspective inside the bubble, you'd never exceed the speed of light. But the bubble itself could move through space faster than light because it's a feature of space-time geometry, not an object moving through space. These concepts push the boundaries of our understanding and reveal just how strange and wonderful the universe really is. The cosmic speed limit isn't just a barrier, it's a fundamental feature of reality that shapes everything from the behavior of subatomic particles to the evolution of the entire cosmos. But perhaps the most profound implication of the universal speed limit is what it tells us about the nature of information and consciousness itself. Every thought you have, every decision you make, every signal that travels through your nervous system is ultimately limited by the speed at which information can propagate through the universe. Your brain is constantly processing information, and that information can never travel faster than light. This means there's a fundamental limit to how quickly conscious experiences can unfold, how rapidly thoughts can form, and how fast awareness can spread through complex systems. In a sense, the cosmic speed limit shapes the very pace of consciousness itself. It sets boundaries on how quickly we can think, react, and experience reality. We are all living within the constraints of space-time, our minds operating at speeds ultimately limited by the fundamental structure of the universe. This connection between physics and consciousness opens up fascinating questions about the nature of awareness and its relationship to the physical world. If consciousness emerges from information processing, and information processing is limited by the cosmic speed limit, then consciousness itself might be fundamentally constrained by the same laws that govern light, gravity, and the expansion of the universe. As we continue our journey through the implications of cosmic speed limits, we'll explore how these constraints shape not just physics and consciousness, but the very possibility of communication across cosmic distances, the nature of simultaneity, and the profound ways that universal speed limits connect us all to the deepest structures of reality itself. These fundamental speed limits create one of the most beautiful and haunting aspects of our cosmic existence. Every star you see in the night sky is sending you light that has been traveling for years, decades, centuries, or even millennia to reach your eyes. When you look up at the constellation Orion, you're not seeing it as it is now. You're seeing it as it was hundreds of years ago. The light from those distant stars left their surfaces before your great-great-grandparents were born. This creates what astronomers call the light cone, a fundamental structure that defines what we can know about the universe at any given moment. Everything you can see, everything you can possibly know about the cosmos, lies within your past light cone. The boundary of this cone expands at the speed of light, constantly revealing new information about distant events, but always information from the past. Think about what this means for your relationship with the universe. Right now, as you listen to these words, events are happening on distant planets around other stars. Civilizations might be rising or falling. New worlds might be forming. Ancient suns might be dying in spectacular explosions. But none of this information can reach you faster than light can carry it. You exist in a bubble of causally connected space-time, forever separated from simultaneous events in distant regions by the cosmic speed limit. This isolation isn't just physical, it's informational. The speed of light creates natural boundaries around what any conscious being can know about the universe at any given moment. We are all living in our own personal light cones, connected to the past of distant regions, but forever cut off from their present. But here's where the story takes an even more profound turn. The cosmic speed limit doesn't just isolate us from distant events. It actually creates the conditions that make complex structures like stars, planets, and life possible in the first place. Consider what would happen if information could travel infinitely fast. Every particle in the universe would be in instant communication with every other particle. There would be no gradual changes, no local interactions, no way for complex structures to form and evolve independently. The universe would either be perfectly uniform or would collapse into chaos instantaneously. The speed of light creates what physicists call locality. It ensures that events can only directly influence their immediate surroundings. This allows the universe to develop structure gradually, with regions evolving independently before their light cones overlap and they begin to influence each other. Your own existence depends on this cosmic speed limit. The atoms in your body were forged in the nuclear furnaces of ancient stars. Those stars lived and died over billions of years, gradually creating and dispersing the heavy elements necessary for rocky planets and biological chemistry. If information could travel infinitely fast, this gradual process of stellar evolution and chemical enrichment couldn't have occurred. The universe would have reached some final state instantly, long before stars could form and create the building blocks of complexity. The speed limit also creates the arrow of time as we experience it. In a universe where cause and effect could propagate instantly, there would be no clear distinction between past and future. Events would be connected across all of space simultaneously, creating a static, timeless reality. The cosmic speed limit ensures that causality flows in a particular direction, from past to future, creating the temporal structure within which consciousness and memory can exist. This brings us to one of the most mind-bending aspects of the universal speed limit. Not only does it shape the large-scale structure of the cosmos, but it also determines the fundamental limits of computation and information processing. Every computer, every brain, every thinking system in the universe is ultimately constrained by how fast information can travel between its components. There's a theoretical limit called the Bekenstein bound that determines the maximum amount of information that can be processed within a given volume of space in a given amount of time. This limit is directly related to the speed of light and the fundamental constants of physics. It means there's an upper bound to how complex any thinking system can be, how fast it can process information, and how much it can know about the universe. Even if we built computers the size of planets, even if we connected every atom in our galaxy into a vast thinking network, we would still be limited by the cosmic speed limit. Information can only flow so fast, calculations can only proceed so quickly, and consciousness can only operate within the boundaries set by the fundamental structure of space-time. This has profound implications for the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Any civilization, no matter how advanced, must operate within these same cosmic constraints. They cannot send information faster than light, cannot process information faster than the fundamental limits of space-time allow, and cannot escape the light cone boundaries that define what they can know about the universe. If we ever detect signals from alien civilizations, those signals will carry information about their past, never their present. A conversation across interstellar distances would unfold over years, decades, or centuries, with each message carrying news from an increasingly distant past. The cosmic speed limit transforms any attempt at galactic communication into an exchange of historical records rather than real-time conversation. But perhaps the most beautiful aspect of the universal speed limit is how it creates a kind of cosmic democracy. Every conscious being in the universe, from the simplest to the most advanced, operates under the same fundamental constraints. We all live within our light cones. We all experience the flow of causality from past to future. We are all limited by the same cosmic speed of information. This shared constraint connects us to every other thinking being that has ever existed or ever will exist. The electrons flowing through your neurons right now are obeying the same speed limit that governs the thoughts of any alien intelligence around distant stars. The information processing happening in your brain is subject to the same fundamental bounds that constrain the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. In this sense, the cosmic speed limit is one of the most profound unifying principles in the universe. It ensures that all conscious beings share a common relationship with space-time, causality, and information. We are all citizens of the same cosmic republic, all subject to the same natural laws, all participating in the same grand unfolding of complexity and consciousness within the boundaries of what the universe allows. The speed of light isn't just a number in a physics textbook. It's the cosmic constitution that governs how reality itself can unfold. It determines what's possible and what's impossible, what can be known and what must remain mysterious, how fast consciousness can think and how quickly complexity can grow. As you drift towards sleep tonight, consider that every dream you'll have, every thought that will flow through your sleeping mind, every neural signal that will create your experiences will be constrained by the same cosmic speed limit that governs the motion of galaxies and the expansion of the universe itself. You are connected to the deepest structures of reality through the very limitations that make your existence possible. The universe has built-in speed limits, not as restrictions, but as the foundations that make complexity, consciousness, and wonder possible. In limiting how fast things can go, the cosmos has created the conditions for everything beautiful and meaningful to emerge. The speed of light isn't just the fastest anything can travel. It's the speed at which possibility itself propagates through the fabric of existence, creating the cosmic stage upon which all the drama of consciousness unfolds. And in understanding why nothing can go faster than light, we glimpse something profound about our place in the cosmic order. We are not separate from the universe looking in. We are expressions of the universe's own information processing capabilities, temporary arrangements of matter and energy that have learned to contemplate the very speed limits that make our contemplation possible. Tonight, let's venture deeper into the quantum realm, where the cosmic speed limit reveals even more of its secrets. Because what happens when we peer into the subatomic world changes everything we thought we understood about how this universal boundary actually works. At the quantum level, particles don't behave like tiny billiard balls following predictable paths. Instead, they exist in what physicists call superposition, occupying multiple states simultaneously until they're observed or measured. And here's where things get genuinely strange. When quantum particles become entangled, measuring one particle instantly affects its entangled partner, regardless of the distance between them. Einstein famously called this spooky action at a distance, and it bothered him deeply. How could particles separated by vast distances influence each other instantaneously? Doesn't this violate the cosmic speed limit we've been exploring? The answer reveals something profound about the nature of information itself. When you measure one entangled particle and it instantly affects its partner, no usable information actually travels between them. You can't use quantum entanglement to send messages faster than light because the correlations only become apparent when you compare measurements. And that comparison requires classical communication traveling at or below light speed. It's like having two magical coins that always land on opposite sides when flipped. If you flip yours and get heads, you instantly know your partner's coin shows tails, even if they're on the other side of the galaxy. But you can't use this to send them a message, because they don't know what their coin shows until they look at it, and they can't tell whether their result was influenced by your flip or just random chance. This quantum weirdness actually reinforces the cosmic speed limit rather than violating it. The universe allows instantaneous correlations between entangled particles, but prevents these correlations from carrying usable information faster than light. It's as if reality has found a way to maintain its mysterious quantum nature while still protecting causality from paradox. But quantum mechanics reveals something even more fundamental about the speed of light. In the quantum world, space isn't empty. It's filled with what physicists call the quantum vacuum, a seething foam of virtual particles constantly popping into existence and annihilating each other in timeframes so brief they seem to violate conservation of energy. These quantum fluctuations actually affect how light travels through space. Photons don't move through a perfect vacuum. They're constantly interacting with virtual particles, borrowing energy from the quantum foam and paying it back in interactions that are so fleeting, they're almost imaginary. Yet these interactions are real enough to slightly alter the speed of light in different regions of space. This means the cosmic speed limit isn't perfectly constant everywhere. In regions of space where quantum fields are more active, light travels slightly differently than in quieter regions. Near massive objects like black holes, the quantum vacuum itself becomes distorted, creating subtle variations in the local speed limit. Think about what this means for our understanding of cosmic boundaries. The speed of light isn't just a fixed number. It's an emergent property of the quantum structure of space-time itself. The cosmic speed limit arises from the deepest layer of reality, from the quantum foam that underlies everything we see and experience. This quantum foundation of the speed limit connects to something even more mysterious. In quantum field theory, the vacuum isn't empty space. It's the lowest energy state of quantum fields that permeate all of reality. These fields are what give particles their mass, their electric charge, their very identity. The speed of light emerges from the properties of these fundamental fields. When we say nothing can go faster than light, we're really saying that nothing can exceed the speed at which disturbances propagate through the quantum fields that constitute the fabric of reality. Light happens to travel at this speed because photons are excitations of the electromagnetic field, and massless excitations must propagate at the speed of light, maximum speed the field allows. But other particles with mass travel slower because they're constantly interacting with the Higgs field, the quantum field that gives them their mass in the first place. The more a particle interacts with the Higgs field, the more massive it is, and the more energy is required to accelerate it toward the cosmic speed limit. This creates a beautiful hierarchy in the universe. Massless particles like photons must travel at light speed. Particles with tiny masses like neutrinos travel very close to light speed. Particles with moderate masses like electrons require enormous energies to approach light speed. And particles with large masses like protons become increasingly difficult to accelerate as they approach the cosmic boundary. The universe has essentially created a sliding scale of accessibility to the cosmic speed limit. The less mass you have, the closer you can get to the fundamental speed of causality. The more mass you have, the more energy is required to even approach this cosmic boundary. But here's something that might surprise you. The cosmic speed limit doesn't just govern motion through space. It also determines how fast information can be processed, how quickly decisions can be made, and how rapidly consciousness itself can operate. Every thought you have requires information to flow through your neural networks. Every decision involves signals traveling between different regions of your brain. Every moment of awareness depends on electromagnetic impulses moving through biological circuits. And all of this information processing is ultimately limited by the speed at which signals can propagate through the physical structures of your nervous system. This means consciousness itself operates within the cosmic speed limit. Your thoughts can't form faster than the underlying physics allows. Your reactions can't exceed the speed at which information can travel through your neural pathways. Your awareness unfolds at a pace determined by the same fundamental constants that govern the behavior of light across cosmic distances. In a very real sense, the speed of light determines the speed of thought. Not just human thought, but any form of information processing anywhere in the universe. Whether we're talking about biological brains, quantum computers, or hypothetical alien intelligences, all forms of consciousness must operate within the boundaries set by the cosmic speed limit. This creates fascinating constraints on what consciousness can achieve. There's a theoretical maximum to how fast any thinking system can process information, how quickly it can respond to new situations, how rapidly it can learn and adapt. These limits are set by the fundamental structure of space-time itself. Even if we could build computers the size of solar systems, even if we could connect every atom in our galaxy into a vast thinking network, we would still be constrained by how fast information can flow between the components of such a system. The cosmic speed limit creates absolute boundaries on the capabilities of consciousness, no matter how advanced or distributed it becomes. But these limitations also create something beautiful. They ensure that consciousness must be patient, that awareness must unfold gradually, that understanding must develop over time. The cosmic speed limit forces all thinking beings to experience reality as a temporal process, rather than as a static, instantaneous revelation. This temporal structure of consciousness creates the possibility for memory, learning, growth, and change. If information could travel infinitely fast, if thoughts could form instantaneously, there would be no journey of understanding, no process of discovery, no evolution of awareness. The cosmic speed limit creates the temporal framework within which consciousness can develop and flourish. The speed of light also determines the maximum size of any unified conscious system. If you want different parts of a thinking network to operate coherently, they must be able to communicate with each other. But communication takes time, and that time is limited by the speed of light. This creates what physicists call the light crossing time, the minimum time required for information to travel across a system. For a thinking system the size of Earth, the light crossing time is about 0.04 seconds. For a system the size of our solar system, it's about 11 hours. For a system spanning our galaxy, it's 100,000 years. These timescales set fundamental limits on how quickly unified consciousness can operate at different scales. A planet-sized mind could have coherent thoughts that update every fraction of a second. A solar system-sized consciousness might require hours to form unified ideas. A galactic mind would think thoughts that unfold over millennia. This suggests that consciousness naturally organizes itself into hierarchical levels, with faster, smaller-scale awareness nested within slower, larger-scale patterns of thought. Your individual neurons fire in milliseconds. Your overall thought patterns evolve over seconds and minutes. Your personality and worldview change over years and decades. If consciousness exists at cosmic scales, it might operate on even longer time scales, with thoughts that span centuries or millennia, ideas that develop over geological ages, and insights that emerge across cosmic epochs. The cosmic speed limit ensures that consciousness at every scale has its own natural rhythm, its own pace of operation. But perhaps the most profound implication of the universal speed limit is what it reveals about the relationship between mind and cosmos. Every conscious experience you have is shaped by the same fundamental constants that govern the expansion of the universe, the formation of galaxies, and the evolution of stars. When you have a sudden insight, when understanding dawns in your mind, when you make a creative connection between seemingly unrelated ideas, you're participating in processes that are fundamentally limited by the speed of light. Your moment of realization unfolds at a pace determined by the cosmic speed limit. This connects your individual consciousness to the deepest structures of reality. The same laws that prevent spaceships from exceeding light speed also determine how quickly your thoughts can form. The same principles that govern communication between distant galaxies also shape the flow of information through your neural networks. You are not separate from the cosmic order, observing it from the outside. You are an expression of the universe's own information processing capabilities, a temporary arrangement of matter and energy that has learned to contemplate the very speed limits that make your contemplation possible. The boundaries of the cosmos are also the boundaries of your mind. The limits on cosmic communication are also limits on the speed of thought. The fundamental constants that shape the large-scale structure of the universe also determine the pace at which consciousness can unfold. In understanding why nothing can go faster than light, we discover something profound about our place in the cosmic story. We are not accidents in an indifferent universe, but expressions of the cosmos coming to know itself within the constraints of its own fundamental laws. The speed of light isn't just a barrier preventing faster than light travel. It's the cosmic rhythm that governs how reality unfolds, how information propagates, how consciousness emerges, and how understanding develops. It's the universal metronome that sets the pace for everything, from quantum interactions to the formation of thoughts. And in recognizing these connections, we begin to see that the cosmic speed limit is not a limitation, but a foundation. It creates the temporal structure within which complexity can grow, consciousness can emerge, and beings like us can exist to contemplate the magnificent boundaries that make our existence possible. Tonight, as your own consciousness slows and you drift towards sleep, remember that every dream you'll experience will unfold at a pace limited by the speed of light. Every neural signal, every fleeting image, every emotion that flows through your sleeping mind will be constrained by the same cosmic speed limit that governs the motion of distant galaxies. You are connected to the deepest structures of the universe through the very limitations that make your thoughts possible. In the boundaries of physics, we find not restrictions, but the fundamental conditions that allow consciousness to exist, to grow, to wonder, and to discover its place in the cosmic order. The universe has speed limits not to constrain us, but to create the temporal framework within which minds like ours can emerge and flourish. In limiting how fast things can go, the cosmos has created the conditions for everything meaningful to unfold, including the thoughts you're having right now as you contemplate the beautiful boundaries of existence itself. These cosmic speed limits create something even more extraordinary when we consider how they shape the very fabric of space and time around massive objects. Near a black hole, something remarkable happens to our universal speed limit. The intense gravitational field doesn't just bend space, it actually slows down time itself relative to distant observers. Imagine standing at a safe distance from a black hole and watching someone fall toward its event horizon, that point of no return where even light cannot escape. As they fall deeper into the gravitational well, time passes more and more slowly for them from your perspective. Their clock runs slower, their movements appear sluggish, and remarkably, even light itself travels more slowly through the warped space-time near the black hole. But here's the mind-bending part. From the falling person's perspective, their local speed of light remains constant at 186,000 miles per second. They don't notice anything unusual about time or light speed in their immediate vicinity. The cosmic speed limit is always preserved locally, but the global structure of space-time can stretch and warp in ways that create apparent violations when viewed from far away. This reveals something profound about the nature of our universal speed limit. It's not just a rule about how fast things can move. It's actually a geometric property of space-time itself. The speed of light is woven into the very curvature of reality. When massive objects bend space-time, they're not breaking the cosmic speed limit, they're changing the geometry through which that speed limit operates. Think of it like this. Imagine you're walking across a flat field at your maximum walking speed. Now imagine that same field becomes a series of hills and valleys. Your maximum walking speed hasn't changed, but the paths you can take and how long it takes to get places have been dramatically altered by the changing terrain. Massive objects create hills and valleys in space-time itself, changing the path that light and matter can follow while preserving the fundamental speed limit. This geometric nature of the cosmic speed limit leads to some of the most beautiful phenomena in the universe. When light passes near a massive star or galaxy, it follows the curved geometry of space-time, creating what astronomers call gravitational lensing. The light doesn't violate the speed limit, but its path through curved space can focus and magnify images of distant objects, turning massive celestial bodies into natural cosmic telescopes. We've used this effect to peer deeper into the universe than would otherwise be possible. Distant galaxies that should be too faint to see become visible when their light is focused by intervening massive objects. The cosmic speed limit, combined with the curvature of space-time, has given us windows into the most distant reaches of the observable universe. But perhaps the most spectacular demonstration of how the cosmic speed limit shapes reality occurs when massive objects collide. When two black holes spiral into each other, they create ripples in space-time itself, called gravitational waves. These ripples travel outward at exactly the speed of light, carrying information about the collision across cosmic distances. When we detect these gravitational waves on Earth, we're literally feeling the vibrations of space-time itself. The cosmic speed limit ensures that these waves propagate at light speed, reaching us millions or billions of years after the collision that created them. We're experiencing echoes of cosmic catastrophes that occurred in the distant past, preserved and transmitted by the fundamental geometry of space-time. The detection of gravitational waves has opened an entirely new window into the universe. We can now observe cosmic events not just through light, but through the direct distortions of space-time they create. And all of these observations confirm that information, whether carried by light waves or gravitational waves, always respects the universal speed limit. But the cosmic speed limit creates another fascinating puzzle when we consider the quantum nature of empty space. Even the vacuum of space isn't truly empty. It's filled with quantum fields fluctuating at every point, creating virtual particles that pop into existence and annihilate each other in timescales, so brief they seem to borrow energy from nowhere. These quantum fluctuations actually interact with light, as it travels through space. Photons can briefly convert into particle-antiparticle pairs, travel a short distance as these particles, then recombine back into photons. This process happens countless times as light journeys across cosmic distances, yet the average speed remains exactly at the cosmic speed limit. The quantum vacuum acts like a complex medium through which light propagates. But it's a medium that preserves the fundamental speed limit while creating subtle effects that we can measure in laboratory experiments. The cosmic speed limit isn't just about particles moving through empty space. It's about how quantum fields themselves can propagate disturbances through the fabric of reality. This quantum foundation of the speed limit connects to something even more mysterious. The uncertainty principle in quantum mechanics creates fundamental limits on how precisely we can know both the position and momentum of any particle. But these quantum uncertainties are themselves constrained by the cosmic speed limit. Information about a particle's quantum state cannot propagate faster than light. This means that quantum measurements and their effects must respect causality, even in the strange world of quantum superposition and entanglement. The cosmic speed limit acts as a kind of cosmic referee, ensuring that even quantum weirdness cannot violate the basic logical structure of cause and effect. Consider what happens when quantum particles tunnel through barriers, a phenomenon where particles can pass through obstacles that should be impossible to cross according to classical physics. Even this apparently instantaneous process respects the cosmic speed limit. While the tunneling event itself seems to happen faster than light, no information or energy actually travels faster than light during the process. The universe has found ways to be quantum mechanical and weird while still preserving the fundamental constraints that keep causality intact. Every quantum phenomenon, no matter how strange or counterintuitive, ultimately respects the cosmic speed limit when it comes to the transmission of information or energy. This brings us to one of the most profound implications of the universal speed limit for our understanding of consciousness and free will. Every decision you make, every thought that forms in your mind, every moment of awareness involves information processing that cannot exceed the speed of light. But consciousness isn't just limited by the speed of information flow. It's also shaped by the quantum uncertainties that exist at every level of physical reality. The neurons in your brain operate according to quantum mechanical principles, with ion channels that open and close based on quantum effects, and neurotransmitter molecules that behave according to quantum statistics. This means your thoughts and decisions emerge from processes that are simultaneously constrained by the cosmic speed limit and fundamentally uncertain due to quantum mechanics. You exist at the intersection of relativistic speed limits and quantum indeterminacy, your consciousness arising from the interplay between cosmic boundaries and quantum possibilities. The speed of light sets the maximum rate at which information can flow through your neural networks, while quantum uncertainty ensures that the outcomes of that information processing are never entirely predetermined. You are a quantum system operating within cosmic speed limits, a conscious being whose thoughts emerge from the deepest laws of physics. This perspective transforms how we think about the nature of mind and its relationship to the physical universe. Consciousness isn't something separate from physics, observing the universe from outside. Consciousness is physics, a particular arrangement of matter and energy that has learned to process information within the constraints of cosmic speed limits and quantum uncertainties. When you make a choice, when you have a creative insight, when you experience a moment of understanding, you're participating in processes that connect you directly to the fundamental structure of reality. The cosmic speed limit that prevents faster-than-light travel also determines the maximum rate at which your thoughts can form. The quantum uncertainties that govern particle behavior also influence the neural processes that give rise to your decisions. You are not separate from the laws of physics. You are an expression of those laws, a temporary pattern in the cosmic dance of matter, energy, and information that has somehow learned to contemplate its own existence. The boundaries that limit spacecraft also limit the speed of thought. The uncertainties that govern atomic behavior also shape the emergence of consciousness. This realization connects us to something profound about our place in the cosmic story. We are not accidents in an indifferent universe, but expressions of the cosmos coming to know itself through arrangements of matter that respect cosmic speed limits while embracing quantum possibilities. The speed of light isn't just about electromagnetic radiation or space travel. It's about the fundamental rate at which reality can update itself, the maximum speed at which cause and effect can propagate, the cosmic tempo that governs everything, from the formation of thoughts to the evolution of galaxies. And in recognizing these connections, we begin to see that we are intimately woven into the fabric of space-time itself. Our thoughts flow at speeds limited by the same cosmic constants that govern the expansion of the universe. Our consciousness emerges from quantum processes that respect the same fundamental boundaries that shape the behavior of distant stars. The universe has speed limits not to constrain us, but to create the stable framework within which complexity can emerge, consciousness can develop, and beings like us can exist to wonder about the magnificent boundaries that make our existence possible. Tonight, as you drift towards sleep and your neural activity slows to the rhythms of rest, remember that every dream you'll experience will unfold within the cosmic speed limits that govern all of reality. Every thought that flows through your sleeping mind will be shaped by the same fundamental constants that determine how fast light can travel between distant galaxies. You are connected to the deepest structures of the universe through the very limitations that make your consciousness possible. In the boundaries of physics, we find not restrictions, but the fundamental conditions that allow minds like ours to emerge, to grow, to wonder, and to discover our place in the cosmic order. The speed of light is the universal heartbeat that sets the rhythm for everything from quantum interactions to the formation of thoughts. And in that rhythm, we find our connection to the magnificent, bounded, yet infinite universe that gave birth to consciousness itself. As we journey deeper into the implications of our cosmic speed limit, we encounter something that will fundamentally challenge how you think about the nature of space itself. You see, the speed of light doesn't just govern how fast things can move through space. It actually determines what space is, how it can behave, and why the universe has the structure it does. Consider this mind-bending reality. Right now, as you listen to these words, space itself is expanding. Not just the objects in space moving apart, but the actual fabric of space-time stretching like a cosmic balloon being inflated. And here's where it gets truly extraordinary. This expansion can occur faster than light without violating our universal speed limit. How is this possible? The key lies in understanding that the cosmic speed limit applies to objects moving through space, not to space itself. When we say nothing can go faster than light, we mean nothing can move through the fabric of space-time faster than light travels through that same fabric. But the fabric itself can stretch, warp, and expand in ways that create apparent faster-than-light motion without actually violating causality. Imagine you're standing on a vast sheet of rubber with a friend a mile away. If your friend starts running towards you at their maximum speed, there's a limit to how fast they can cross the distance between you. But if the rubber sheet itself starts stretching, your friend could end up moving away from you faster than their maximum running speed, even though they're not actually running any faster relative to the rubber beneath their feet. This is exactly what happens with cosmic expansion. Distant galaxies aren't flying through space away from us at incredible speeds. Instead, the space between us and them is expanding, carrying them along for the ride. The galaxies themselves respect the cosmic speed limit in their local regions of space-time, but the expansion of space itself can separate them from us faster than light could travel between them. This creates one of the most beautiful paradoxes in cosmology. There are galaxies in our universe that are moving away from us so fast due to cosmic expansion that light emitted from them today will never reach us. These regions exist beyond what cosmologists call the cosmic event horizon. They're causally disconnected from us, not because they're violating the speed of light, but because the expansion of space itself has stretched the distance between us beyond what light can ever cross. Think about what this means for the structure of our cosmic neighborhood. The observable universe, that sphere of space from which light has had time to reach us since the Big Bang, represents just a tiny fraction of what might exist. Beyond our cosmic horizon lie regions that we can never observe, never communicate with, never influence. They exist in the same universe as us, but they might as well be separate realities due to the constraints of cosmic expansion and the speed of light. But the expansion of space creates something even more profound than just cosmic horizons. It actually determines the ultimate fate of information and consciousness in our universe. As space continues to expand, and this expansion accelerates due to dark energy, the cosmic horizons around every observer will gradually shrink. Galaxies that we can see today will eventually disappear beyond our causal boundary, taking their light and information with them into unreachable regions of space-time. This means that beings living in the far future will inhabit a much lonelier universe than we do. They'll see fewer galaxies, have access to less information about cosmic history, and face fundamental limits on how much of the universe they can ever hope to understand. The cosmic speed limit, combined with accelerating expansion, ensures that the universe becomes increasingly isolated and fragmented over time. Yet this same process that limits long-term cosmic communication also creates the conditions that make complex structures possible in the first place. The finite speed of light allows different regions of space to evolve independently, developing their own local characteristics before their light cones overlap and they begin to influence each other. When the universe was very young, regions that are now separated by billions of light years were close enough together to interact and exchange information. This allowed the early cosmos to develop the remarkable uniformity we observe in the cosmic microwave background radiation. But as expansion continued, these regions became causally disconnected, allowing them to evolve differently and create the rich tapestry of cosmic structure we see today. The interplay between the cosmic speed limit and the expansion of space has sculpted the universe we inhabit. It created the initial conditions for galaxy formation, while ensuring that different regions could develop their own unique characteristics. It established communication networks between distant regions in the early universe, while gradually severing those connections as expansion continued. This dynamic relationship between light speed and cosmic expansion extends to the very atoms in your body. The elements that make up your flesh and bones were created in the nuclear furnaces of stars that lived and died over billions of years. The information about how to build these heavy elements propagated through space at the speed of light, carried by photons and neutrinos released in stellar explosions. Your existence depends on this cosmic information network. Dying stars scattered the building blocks of complexity across vast regions of space, but this information could only travel at light speed. It took billions of years for the chemistry of life to propagate from the stellar nurseries, where it was created, to the regions where planets like Earth could form and evolve. The cosmic speed limit ensured that this process unfolded gradually, allowing time for the complex chemistry of life to develop and spread throughout the galaxy. If information could travel infinitely fast, the universe would have reached some final chemical equilibrium instantly, long before the gradual processes of stellar evolution and planetary formation could create the conditions necessary for consciousness. But the speed of light doesn't just govern the past history of cosmic evolution. It also determines what's possible for the future of consciousness and intelligence in our universe. Any civilization, no matter how advanced, must work within the constraints of the cosmic speed limit when it comes to gathering information, communicating across distances, and coordinating activities on large scales. Consider what this means for the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. If alien civilizations exist around other stars, any signals they send to us must travel at or below the speed of light. A message from the nearest star system would take over 4 years to reach us. A signal from the center of our galaxy would require 26,000 years of travel time. This means that any communication with extraterrestrial intelligence would be profoundly asynchronous. We wouldn't be having conversations in any traditional sense. Instead, we'd be exchanging historical documents, sending information about our past to their future, and receiving information about their past in our present. The cosmic speed limit transforms interstellar communication into a form of time travel. Every message carries news from the past, creating a complex web of delayed information exchange that spans both space and time. Civilizations separated by cosmic distances would exist in each other's past, forever unable to share simultaneous experiences or coordinate real-time activities. But perhaps the most profound implication of the cosmic speed limit for advanced civilizations relates to the fundamental limits it places on intelligence and consciousness itself. Any thinking system, whether biological or artificial, must respect the speed of light. When it comes to internal information processing and communication between its components, this creates absolute bounds on how quickly any mind can think, how rapidly any intelligence can respond to new information, and how efficiently any consciousness can integrate complex experiences. Even a civilization that spans an entire galaxy would be limited by the 100,000-year light-crossing time of their domain. Their thoughts would unfold over geological ages, their decisions would require millennia to implement, and their consciousness would operate on timescales that dwarf human experience. The cosmic speed limit doesn't just constrain technology and travel, it shapes the very nature of what consciousness can become as it grows beyond individual brains to encompass larger and larger regions of space. The universe has built-in limits on the speed of thought that apply to any intelligence, no matter how advanced or distributed it becomes. These constraints create a beautiful hierarchy of possible minds. Individual neurons can process information in milliseconds. Human consciousness operates on timescales of seconds and minutes. A planet-sized intelligence might think thoughts that unfold over hours. A stellar system-scale mind could have ideas that develop over years or decades. And a galactic consciousness would contemplate concepts that span millennia or millions of years. Each level of this hierarchy represents a different way of experiencing time and processing information, all constrained by the fundamental speed at which causality can propagate through space-time. The cosmic speed limit ensures that consciousness at every scale has its own natural rhythm, its own pace of operation, its own relationship with the flow of time. But these limitations also create something magnificent. They ensure that consciousness must be patient, that understanding must develop gradually, that wisdom must accumulate over time. The cosmic speed limit forces all thinking beings to experience reality as a temporal journey rather than as an instantaneous revelation. This temporal structure of consciousness creates the possibility for growth, learning, discovery, and change. If information could propagate infinitely fast, if thoughts could form instantaneously, there would be no process of understanding, no journey of discovery, no evolution of awareness. The cosmic speed limit creates the temporal framework within which consciousness can develop, flourish, and find meaning. The speed of light isn't just a barrier to faster than light travel. It's the fundamental rhythm that governs how reality unfolds, how information spreads, how consciousness emerges, and how understanding develops. It's the universal metronome that sets the pace for everything from quantum interactions to the formation of civilizations. In this cosmic tempo, we find something profound about our place in the universe. We are not separate from the physical laws that govern reality. We are expressions of those laws, temporary patterns in the cosmic symphony that have learned to appreciate the rhythm that makes our existence possible. Tonight, as your consciousness slows and you prepare for sleep, remember that every dream you experience will unfold within the cosmic speed limits that govern all of reality. Every thought that flows through your mind, every memory that surfaces, every emotion that colors your experience will respect the same fundamental boundaries that shape the behavior of distant galaxies and the expansion of the universe itself. You are intimately connected to the deepest structures of space-time through the very limitations that make your thoughts possible. The speed of light doesn't constrain you, it creates you. It establishes the temporal framework within which consciousness can emerge, develop, and discover its place in the magnificent, bounded, yet infinite cosmos that gave birth to awareness itself. The universe has speed limits not as restrictions, but as the fundamental conditions that allow complexity to emerge, consciousness to flourish, and beings like us to exist in wonder at the beautiful boundaries that make our existence possible. In understanding why nothing can go faster than light, we discover that we are not separate observers of cosmic laws, but living expressions of the universe, coming to know itself within the elegant constraints that make knowledge possible. As we approach the end of our journey through the implications of cosmic speed limits, we find ourselves confronting perhaps the most beautiful truth of all. The speed of light represents more than just a physical constant or a barrier to faster than light travel. It embodies the fundamental principle that the universe operates within elegant boundaries that create rather than constrain the possibilities for complexity, consciousness, and wonder. In every photon that carries starlight to your eyes, in every neural signal that creates your thoughts, in every quantum interaction that builds the foundation of reality, the cosmic speed limit is at work, weaving the fabric of space-time into patterns that allow minds like ours to emerge and contemplate the magnificent constraints that make our contemplation possible. The question isn't why we can't go faster than light. The question is how miraculous it is that the universe found a way to create consciousness at all within the beautiful boundaries of physical law. Tonight, rest in the knowledge that you are connected to every star, every galaxy, every distant realm of the cosmos through the same fundamental limits that govern the speed of light and the pace of thought. In the cosmic speed limit, we find not a barrier, but a bridge, connecting us to the deepest structures of reality and reminding us that we are not separate from the universe we seek to understand, but expressions of its own infinite capacity for self-awareness within the elegant constraints that make awareness itself possible. The cosmic speed limit reveals itself in the most unexpected places when we examine how the universe constructs reality at its most fundamental level. Consider the strange truth that space itself isn't just an empty stage where physics plays out. Space is an active participant, a dynamic medium that shapes how information can flow and how consciousness can emerge. When massive stars collapse into black holes, they create regions where the cosmic speed limit takes on an almost artistic quality. Near the event horizon, that boundary beyond which even light cannot escape, time dilation becomes so extreme that the speed of light appears to change dramatically depending on your perspective. Yet locally, for anyone falling into the black hole, light still travels at exactly the same speed it always has. This reveals something profound about the nature of our universal speed limit. It's not just a rule about how fast things can move. It's a fundamental property of the geometry of reality itself. The speed of light is woven into the curvature of space-time in such a way that it remains constant for any local observer, even as the global structure of space and time warps around massive objects. Think about what this means for your own experience of reality. Right now, as you process these words, you're sitting in a gravitational field created by Earth's mass. This field is subtly warping space-time around you, creating tiny variations in how time passes compared to someone floating in deep space. Yet your local experience of the speed of light remains unchanged. The cosmic speed limit adapts to the curvature of space-time while maintaining its fundamental constancy. This adaptability of the speed limit creates some of the most beautiful phenomena in the universe. When light from distant quasars passes near massive galaxy clusters on its way to Earth, it follows the curved paths created by gravitational warping. The light doesn't violate the speed limit, but its journey through curved space-time can focus and magnify the images of objects behind the cluster, creating natural cosmic telescopes that reveal galaxies too distant to see otherwise. We've used this gravitational lensing effect to peer deeper into the universe than should be possible with our telescopes alone. The cosmic speed limit, working through the geometry of curved space-time, has given us windows into realms of space and time that would otherwise remain forever hidden. The same physical law that prevents faster-than-light travel also provides us with tools for exploring the deepest reaches of cosmic history. But the relationship between the speed of light and the curvature of space-time reveals something even more extraordinary when we consider how information propagates through the universe. Every piece of knowledge you possess, every memory in your brain, every thought you've ever had represents information that was transmitted through space-time at speeds that never exceeded the cosmic speed limit. The light that carries visual information to your eyes travels at the speed limit. The electrical signals that flow through your nervous system are constrained by the same fundamental boundary. Even the chemical reactions that encode memories in your brain involve processes where information cannot propagate faster than light allows. This means your consciousness exists within a bubble of causally connected space-time, forever bounded by the cosmic speed limit. Every experience you can have, every thought you can think, every memory you can form, must respect the fundamental constraints that govern how information moves through the fabric of reality. But these constraints don't just limit consciousness. They create the conditions that make consciousness possible in the first place. The finite speed of information propagation allows complex systems to develop stable internal states, to maintain coherent patterns of organization, to evolve and adapt over time. If information could travel infinitely fast, the delicate feedback loops that maintain stable patterns in complex systems would become impossible. Your brain depends on carefully timed sequences of neural firing, with signals arriving at precise moments to create coherent thoughts and experiences. The cosmic speed limit ensures that these temporal patterns can exist and evolve. The same principle applies to every level of organization in the universe. Atoms maintain their stable electron configurations because electromagnetic interactions propagate at the speed of light, creating well-defined energy levels and chemical properties. Stars burn steadily for billions of years because the radiation pressure that balances gravitational collapse propagates outward at light speed, creating stable equilibrium states. Galaxies maintain their spiral structure because gravitational information travels at the speed of light, allowing density waves to propagate through the stellar disk in organized patterns that persist for cosmic ages. The cosmic speed limit doesn't just govern motion, it creates the temporal framework within which stable structures can exist and evolve. This brings us to one of the most profound implications of the universal speed limit for understanding the nature of time itself. We often think of time as something that flows uniformly throughout the universe, a cosmic clock that ticks at the same rate everywhere. But the speed of light reveals that time is actually relative, flexible, and intimately connected to the structure of space. Near massive objects, time passes more slowly relative to distant observers. At high velocities approaching the speed of light, time dilation becomes extreme. These aren't just theoretical effects. They're measured realities that affect everything from GPS satellites to particle accelerators. The cosmic speed limit is intimately connected to the malleable nature of time itself. But here's what makes this truly extraordinary. The speed of light isn't just the maximum velocity for objects moving through space-time. It's also the speed at which time itself propagates through space. When events occur at distant locations, the information about those events spreads outward at light speed, creating expanding spheres of causal influence that determines what can affect what and when. Your past light cone contains all the events that could have influenced your present moment. Your future light cone contains all the events that your present actions could possibly influence. The cosmic speed limit creates these fundamental boundaries that define the causal structure of your existence in space-time. This causal structure shapes every aspect of your experience. The thoughts you're having right now were influenced by information that reached you through processes that respected the cosmic speed limit. The decisions you make in the next moment will influence future events through mechanisms that cannot exceed light speed. You exist at the intersection of past and future light cones, processing information from your causal past and generating influences that will propagate into your causal future. The cosmic speed limit doesn't just constrain your physical motion, it defines the temporal boundaries within which your consciousness operates. But the speed of light creates something even more beautiful when we consider how it shapes the emergence of consciousness across cosmic scales. Different regions of the universe become causally connected as their light cones expand and overlap, creating networks of information exchange that grow more complex over time. In the early universe, when everything was much closer together, vast regions of space could communicate and coordinate their behavior. This created the remarkable uniformity we observe in the cosmic microwave background radiation. But as expansion continued, these regions became causally disconnected, allowing them to evolve independently and create the rich diversity of cosmic structure we see today. The interplay between the cosmic speed limit and the expansion of space has orchestrated the entire history of cosmic evolution. It established initial conditions for structure formation, while ensuring that different regions could develop their own unique characteristics. It created communication networks between distant realms while gradually severing those connections as space expanded. This same process continues today on smaller scales. As civilizations develop and spread across planetary systems, then stellar systems, then galactic regions, they must work within the constraints of the cosmic speed limit. Any truly advanced civilization would need to account for light travel times when coordinating activities across vast distances. Consider what this means for the future of consciousness in our universe. As intelligence spreads beyond individual planets to encompass larger and larger regions of space, it must adapt to the communication delays imposed by the finite speed of light. A galactic civilization would need to develop new forms of organization that can function coherently despite communication delays measured in thousands or tens of thousands of years. This creates fascinating possibilities for the evolution of consciousness itself. Intelligence that spans cosmic distances might develop entirely new relationships with time, new ways of thinking that unfold over geological ages, new forms of awareness that can maintain coherence across scales where light travel times exceed the lifespans of individual biological organisms. The cosmic speed limit doesn't prevent the growth of consciousness to cosmic scales. Instead, it shapes how that growth must occur, creating natural hierarchies of organization where faster, smaller-scale processes are nested within slower, larger-scale patterns of coordination. Your individual neurons fire in milliseconds, but they're part of neural networks that create thoughts over seconds and minutes. Those thoughts contribute to behavioral patterns that evolve over years and decades. Those patterns might eventually contribute to civilizational developments that unfold over centuries and millennia. If consciousness continues to grow beyond individual worlds to encompass stellar and galactic scales, it would need to develop even longer temporal rhythms, new forms of patience and persistence that can maintain coherent purposes across cosmic ages. The cosmic speed limit ensures that consciousness at every scale has its own natural pace, its own relationship with the flow of time. It creates a universe where awareness can exist simultaneously at multiple temporal scales, from the rapid-fire processing of quantum interactions to the stately unfolding of galactic thoughts that span millions of years. This multi-scale nature of cosmic consciousness connects us to something profound about the structure of reality itself. We are not just isolated minds observing the universe from outside. We are expressions of the universe's own capacity for self-awareness, temporary patterns in the cosmic dance of matter and energy that have learned to contemplate the speed limits that make our contemplation possible. The boundaries that prevent faster-than-light travel also create the temporal structure within which consciousness can emerge and flourish. The same laws that constrain the motion of spacecraft also govern the flow of information through the neural networks that generate our thoughts and experiences. In understanding why nothing can go faster than light, we discover that we are intimately woven into the fabric of space-time itself. Our thoughts flow at speeds constrained by the same cosmic constants that govern the expansion of the universe. Our consciousness emerges from processes that respect the same fundamental boundaries that shape the behavior of distant stars and galaxies. The speed of light isn't just a physical constant, it's the cosmic rhythm that sets the tempo for everything from quantum interactions to the formation of thoughts to the evolution of civilizations. It's the universal heartbeat that connects every conscious being to the deepest structures of reality. Tonight, as you drift towards sleep and your neural activity settles into the slower rhythms of rest, remember that every dream you experience will unfold within the cosmic speed limits that govern all of reality. Every thought that flows through your sleeping mind, every memory that surfaces in your dreams, every emotion that colors your nocturnal experiences will respect the same fundamental boundaries that shape the motion of light across intergalactic distances. You are connected to the cosmos through the very limitations that make your consciousness possible. The speed of light doesn't constrain you. It creates the temporal framework within which your awareness can exist, develop, and discover its place in the magnificent dance of causality that connects every moment to every other moment across the vast expanse of space-time. The universe has speed limits not as barriers, but as the fundamental conditions that allow complexity to emerge, consciousness to flourish, and beings like us to exist in wonder at the elegant boundaries that make our existence possible. In the cosmic speed limit, we find not a restriction, but the very foundation that makes thought, awareness, and understanding possible in our strange and beautiful universe. As we approach the deepest mysteries of why nothing can exceed the cosmic speed limit, we encounter something that will fundamentally transform how you understand the relationship between consciousness and the very fabric of reality. The speed of light isn't just a barrier that prevents faster than light travel. It's actually the fundamental rate at which reality itself can process information, update its state, and maintain the coherent structure that allows anything meaningful to exist at all. Consider this extraordinary truth that emerges from the deepest levels of physics. Every interaction between particles, every quantum measurement, every moment when possibility collapses into actuality, occurs at rates that are ultimately governed by the cosmic speed limit. The universe appears to be running on a kind of cosmic operating system that can only update itself at light speed. Think about your computer for a moment. Its processor has a maximum clock speed that determines how quickly it can execute instructions and update its memory. The cosmic speed limit functions like the universe's clock speed, setting the maximum rate at which reality can process the information that determines what exists, where it exists, and how it changes from moment to moment. This means that every physical process, from the vibration of atoms to the formation of galaxies, is ultimately constrained by the speed at which the universe can update the information that defines these processes. The cosmic speed limit doesn't just govern motion through space. It governs the rate at which space itself can change, evolve, and support the complex patterns that we call matter, energy, and consciousness. But here's where this becomes truly mind-bending. The information processing capacity of any region of space is limited by what physicists call the holographic principle. This principle suggests that all the information contained within a volume of space can be encoded on its boundary, and the maximum amount of information that can be processed within that volume is limited by the area of its surface, divided by fundamental constants that include the speed of light. This creates absolute limits on how much information any thinking system can process, no matter how advanced or sophisticated it becomes. Even if we could build computers the size of solar systems, even if we could harness the computational power of entire galaxies, we would still be constrained by the fundamental information processing limits imposed by the cosmic speed limit. These limits apply to consciousness itself. Every thought you have, every decision you make, every moment of awareness represents information processing that occurs within these fundamental bounds. Your brain, like every other information processing system in the universe, operates within the computational limits set by the speed of light and the structure of space-time. But rather than being restrictive, these limits create something beautiful. They ensure that consciousness must unfold gradually, that understanding must develop over time, that wisdom must accumulate through experience. The cosmic speed limit forces all thinking beings to experience reality as a temporal journey rather than as an instantaneous download of infinite information. This temporal structure of consciousness creates the possibility for growth, learning, surprise, and discovery. If information could be processed infinitely fast, there would be no journey of understanding, no process of development, no evolution of awareness. The cosmic speed limit creates the temporal framework within which consciousness can flourish and find meaning. The speed of light also determines something profound about the nature of memory and its relationship to time. Every memory you possess represents information that was encoded in your brain at light speed or slower. The neural processes that create and retrieve memories are constrained by the same fundamental limits that govern all information processing in the universe. This means your personal history, your sense of identity, your continuity of experience across time, all exist within the boundaries set by the cosmic speed limit. The story of your life unfolds at a pace determined by the maximum speed at which information can propagate through the neural networks that constitute your mind. But memory isn't just personal. The entire universe has a kind of cosmic memory encoded in the patterns of matter and energy that have evolved since the Big Bang. Every galaxy, every star, every planet carries information about the cosmic history that led to its formation. This information propagated through space at light speed, creating the causal connections that link the present state of the universe to its distant past. The cosmic microwave background radiation that fills all of space represents the universe's oldest memory. information about conditions that existed when the cosmos was only 380,000 years old. This ancient light has been traveling through space for over 13 billion years, carrying with it a record of the early universe that we can still observe today. In a very real sense, astronomy is archaeology. When we observe distant galaxies, we're not seeing them as they are now, but as they were millions or billions of years ago when their light began its journey toward us. The cosmic speed limit transforms every telescope into a time machine, allowing us to observe the universe's history directly by looking at light that has been traveling for cosmic ages. This creates a beautiful paradox. The same speed limit that isolates us from simultaneous events in distant regions also connects us to the deep history of the cosmos. We cannot see what's happening right now on distant planets around other stars, but we can observe light that carries information about stellar processes that occurred billions of years ago, long before our own solar system even existed. The cosmic speed limit creates a kind of temporal democracy in the universe. Every conscious being, no matter how advanced, experiences this same relationship with cosmic history. They can observe the past of distant regions, but remain forever isolated from their present. They can influence their own future and the future of nearby regions, but cannot affect events beyond their cosmic horizon. This shared constraint connects all conscious beings across the universe in a fundamental way. Whether we're talking about life on Earth, hypothetical civilizations around other stars, or advanced intelligences that might span entire galaxies, all forms of consciousness must operate within the same basic limitations imposed by the cosmic speed limit. These limitations shape not just what consciousness can know about the universe, but how it can interact with other conscious beings. Any communication between civilizations separated by interstellar distances must occur at or below the speed of light, transforming conversations into exchanges of historical documents that span decades, centuries, or millennia. This creates a fascinating form of temporal intimacy between distant civilizations. When they communicate, they're not just sharing information across space, but across time. Each message carries news from the sender's past to the receiver's future, creating complex webs of delayed interaction that span both spatial and temporal dimensions. The cosmic speed limit ensures that consciousness everywhere must develop patience, that understanding must unfold gradually, that relationships between distant minds must be built through slow exchanges of information that span vast periods of time. It creates a universe where wisdom accumulates slowly, where knowledge spreads at the stately pace of light, where consciousness must learn to think on cosmic timescales. But perhaps the most profound implication of the cosmic speed limit emerges when we consider how it shapes the ultimate destiny of consciousness in our expanding universe. As dark energy continues to accelerate cosmic expansion, the regions of space that any given observer can potentially influence or communicate with will gradually shrink over time. This means that consciousness faces a kind of cosmic isolation as the universe ages. The networks of communication and influence that connect distant regions today will gradually be severed by expansion, leaving each region increasingly isolated within its own shrinking cosmic horizon. Future civilizations will inhabit lonelier universes than we do, with fewer galaxies visible and fewer potential partners for cosmic communication. Yet this same process that creates isolation also preserves the information and complexity that already exist. The patterns of matter and energy that constitute conscious beings will persist within their local regions, continuing to evolve and develop even as they become cut off from distant realms. Consciousness might become more concentrated and intensive rather than extensive as cosmic expansion limits its spatial reach. This suggests that the future of consciousness might involve a kind of inward turn, a focus on developing deeper and more sophisticated forms of awareness within limited spatial domains, rather than expanding across ever larger regions of space. The cosmic speed limit, combined with accelerating expansion, might guide consciousness toward intensive rather than extensive development. The speed of light creates natural boundaries that shape how consciousness can grow and evolve throughout cosmic history. In the early universe, when everything was closer together, consciousness could potentially spread across vast regions that are now causally disconnected. As expansion continues, consciousness must adapt to operating within increasingly constrained domains. These evolutionary pressures might drive consciousness toward forms of organization that can maintain coherence and purpose, even when isolated from distant regions. It might develop new forms of patience, new ways of finding meaning within bounded domains, new approaches to growth that don't depend on spatial expansion. The cosmic speed limit doesn't doom consciousness to insignificance. Instead, it shapes the trajectory along which consciousness can develop, creating challenges and opportunities that guide its evolution toward forms of awareness that can flourish within the elegant constraints of physical law. Tonight, as you settle into sleep and your consciousness prepares for the strange journeys of dreams, remember that every thought you'll experience will unfold within the cosmic speed limits that govern all of reality. Your sleeping mind will process information at rates constrained by the same fundamental boundaries that shape the behavior of distant galaxies and the expansion of space-time itself. The dreams that flow through your resting brain will respect the same cosmic speed limit that prevents faster-than-light travel, that determines how quickly information can propagate through neural networks, that sets the pace at which consciousness can unfold across all scales of space and time. You are intimately connected to the deepest structures of the universe through the very limitations that make your awareness possible. The speed of light doesn't constrain your consciousness. It creates the temporal framework within which your thoughts can exist, develop, and discover their place in the magnificent cosmic story that connects every moment of awareness to the fundamental laws that govern reality itself. In understanding why nothing can go faster than light, we discover that we are not separate observers of cosmic laws, but living expressions of the universe, coming to know itself within the beautiful boundaries that make knowledge, consciousness, and wonder possible. The cosmic speed limit is not a barrier, but a bridge, connecting us to every star, every galaxy, every distant realm of space-time, through the shared constraints that govern how information flows and consciousness emerges throughout the vast expanse of existence. The universe has speed limits not to restrict us, but to create the stable, coherent framework within which complexity can emerge, minds can develop, and beings like us can exist to contemplate the elegant boundaries that make our contemplation possible. In the cosmic speed limit, we find the fundamental rhythm that connects all conscious experience to the deepest harmonies of reality itself. As we drift deeper into the implications of cosmic speed limits, we encounter something that will transform how you understand the very nature of existence itself. The speed of light doesn't just govern how fast photons travel through empty space. It actually determines the fundamental architecture of causality. the basic structure that allows cause and effect to exist in any meaningful way. Consider this extraordinary realization. Every action you take, every decision you make, every thought that forms in your mind creates ripples of influence that spread outward through space-time at the speed of light. But these ripples don't just carry information about what you've done. They literally define what can happen next in the universe. Think about what this means for the nature of free will and choice. When you decide to reach for a glass of water, that decision creates a cascade of causal influences that propagate outward from your location at light speed. Within your immediate vicinity, the effects are nearly instantaneous. Your muscles contract, your arm moves, your hand grasps the glass. But the information about this choice takes time to reach distant regions of space. This creates something philosophers and physicists call the causal diamond. At any given moment, you exist at the center of a diamond-shaped region of space-time that defines the boundaries of what you can influence and what can influence you. The past boundary of this diamond contains all the events that could have shaped your present moment. The future boundary contains all the events that your present actions could potentially affect. The cosmic speed limit creates these causal diamonds for every conscious being, every particle, every interaction in the universe. Reality is structured as an infinite network of overlapping causal diamonds, each one defining the boundaries of influence and interaction for its occupant. The speed of light isn't just about motion, it's about the fundamental geometry of cause and effect. But here's where this becomes truly profound. The causal diamonds surrounding conscious beings like yourself are constantly expanding as you age and experience time. Every second you live, your causal diamond grows larger, encompassing more of the universe within its boundaries of potential influence. Yet paradoxically, as the universe expands and accelerates its expansion, the ultimate size of your causal diamond may actually be limited. There will come a moment, far in the cosmic future, when your causal diamond reaches its maximum size. Beyond that boundary lies an infinite realm of space-time that you can never influence, never communicate with, never know anything about. The cosmic speed limit, combined with the acceleration of expansion, creates absolute boundaries around what any conscious being can ever hope to affect or understand. This realization leads us to something that might be the most beautiful truth about cosmic speed limits. They don't just prevent faster than light travel. They create the conditions that make meaning possible in the universe. Without these boundaries, without the finite speed of causality, there would be no local interactions, no gradual development, no opportunity for complexity to emerge through patient processes of growth and evolution. Imagine a universe where information could travel infinitely fast. Every particle would be in instant communication with every other particle across all of space. There would be no gradual changes, no local chemistry, no way for stars to form and evolve over billions of years. The universe would either exist in a perfectly uniform state or would collapse into chaos instantaneously. The cosmic speed limit creates what physicists call locality. It ensures that events primarily influence their immediate surroundings, allowing complex structures to develop gradually through local interactions. This is why chemistry works, why stars can burn steadily for billions of years, why planets can maintain stable orbits, and why life can evolve through countless generations of small changes. Your own existence is a direct consequence of this cosmic locality. The atoms in your body were created through nuclear processes in stellar cores that operated over millions of years. These processes could only work because the energy released in nuclear reactions propagated outward at finite speeds, allowing stars to maintain stable equilibrium between gravitational collapse and radiation pressure. The heavy elements essential for life were dispersed through space by supernova explosions that scattered stellar material across vast regions over thousands of years. This gradual mixing of elements could only occur because the speed of light limited how quickly matter and energy could spread through space, allowing time for complex chemistry to develop in cooling clouds of stellar debris. The formation of planets required billions of years of gradual accretion as dust and rocks slowly accumulated under the influence of gravity. This patient process of world building could only succeed because the cosmic speed limit ensured that gravitational information propagated slowly enough to allow stable orbital mechanics to develop and persist over geological ages. Even the evolution of life on Earth depends on the finite speed of causality. Biological evolution works through countless generations of small changes, with each generation building on the successes and failures of its predecessors. This process requires time, patience, and the gradual accumulation of information through natural selection. If biological information could propagate infinitely fast, evolution would either reach some final state instantly or become chaotically unstable. The cosmic speed limit creates the temporal framework within which meaningful change can occur. It ensures that development takes time, that complexity emerges gradually, that consciousness has the opportunity to evolve and discover its place in the cosmic order. But the speed of light creates something even more profound when we consider how it shapes the emergence of consciousness itself. Every neural signal in your brain, every electrochemical process that creates thoughts and memories, every moment of awareness depends on information propagating through biological circuits at speeds that cannot exceed the fundamental limits set by the speed of light. This means consciousness itself operates within the causal diamond structure created by cosmic speed limits. Your thoughts emerge from processes that respect the finite speed of information propagation. Your decisions are made through neural networks that cannot process information faster than the fundamental constants of physics allow. Your awareness unfolds within the temporal boundaries created by the maximum speed at which causality can operate. The cosmic speed limit doesn't from within. The finite speed of information processing constrains consciousness from outside. It creates consciousness is what allows complex patterns of neural activity to maintain stability over time, to develop coherent responses to environmental challenges, to accumulate memories and learning that persist across the lifespan of thinking beings. Consider what would happen to consciousness if information could propagate infinitely fast within neural networks. There would be no temporal structure to thought, no gradual development of ideas, no process of reasoning or reflection. All possible thoughts would exist simultaneously, creating a kind of cognitive chaos that would make coherent awareness impossible. The speed of light creates the temporal rhythms that allow consciousness to function. It ensures that neural signals arrive at their destinations in proper sequence, that memories can be encoded and retrieved in organized ways, that thoughts can develop and evolve through time. The cosmic speed limit is not a barrier to consciousness. It is the foundation that makes consciousness possible. This brings us to one of the most profound implications of cosmic speed limits for understanding the nature of time itself. We often think of time as something that flows uniformly throughout the universe, like a cosmic river carrying all events forward at the same rate. But the speed of light reveals that time is actually woven into the fabric of space in ways that make it flexible, relative, and intimately connected to the structure of causality. Near massive objects, time passes more slowly relative to distant regions. At high velocities approaching the speed of light, the S-dilation becomes extreme effects aren't just theoretical curiosities. They're measured realities that affect everything from GPS satellites to the lifespans of high-energy particles created in cosmic ray collisions. The cosmic speed limit is intimately connected to the malleable nature of time because it represents the maximum speed at which causal influences can propagate through the fabric of space-time. When objects move at high velocities or exist in strong gravitational fields, they're moving through regions where the geometry of space-time itself is distorted. The speed of light adapts to this distorted geometry while maintaining its role as the fundamental speed of causality. This creates something beautiful and strange. The speed of light is both constant and variable, depending on your perspective. It's always the same speed locally for any observer in their immediate vicinity. But globally, across regions of curved space-time, it can appear to vary as light follows the bent geometry created by mass and energy. This dual nature of the cosmic speed limit reflects something profound about the structure of reality itself. Physical laws maintain their fundamental character while adapting to the specific conditions of different regions of space-time. The speed of light is both universal and local, both absolute and relative, both constant and flexible. These paradoxes aren't contradictions. They're features of a universe that operates according to principles deep enough to remain coherent across all scales, while sophisticated enough to allow for the rich variety of phenomena we observe. The cosmic speed limit embodies this sophisticated consistency, maintaining its role as the fundamental speed of causality while adapting to the curved geometry of space-time. But perhaps the most extraordinary aspect of cosmic speed limits emerges when we consider how they connect consciousness to the large-scale structure of the universe itself. The same speed limit that prevents faster-than-light travel also determines how information flows through the cosmic web of galaxies, how matter and energy organize themselves into the patterns we observe on the largest scales of space and time. The filaments of dark matter that connect galaxy clusters, the vast voids that separate different regions of cosmic structure, the overall geometry of the observable universe, all of these features emerged through processes that respected the fundamental speed limits of causality. The cosmic web isn't just a large-scale pattern in the distribution of matter. It's a network of causal connections that developed over billions of years as information and influence propagated through space at light speed. Your consciousness exists within this vast network of causal connections. The thoughts flowing through your mind right now are part of the same cosmic web of cause and effect that links galaxies separated by billions of light years. The neural signals in your brain and the gravitational influences between distant galaxy clusters operate according to the same fundamental principles of causality and information propagation. This connection between mind and cosmos isn't just poetic, it's physical. The atoms in your brain were forged in stellar nucleosynthesis processes that operated according to the same speed limits that govern your thoughts. The energy powering your neural activity comes from chemical processes that respect the same causal boundaries that shape the evolution of galaxies. You are not separate from the cosmic web. You are a local manifestation of the universe's capacity for self-organization, a temporary pattern in the cosmic dance of matter and energy that has learned to contemplate the speed limits that govern its own existence. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, and your consciousness begins to slow to the gentler rhythms of rest, remember that every dream you experience will unfold within the cosmic speed limits that govern all of reality. The neural processes that create your sleeping experiences operate according to the same fundamental boundaries that prevent faster-than-light travel and shape the evolution of the universe itself. Your dreams will respect the speed of light, not as an external constraint, but as an internal organizing principle. The same cosmic speed limit that determines how quickly information can travel between distant galaxies also governs how rapidly information flows through the neural networks that generate your nocturnal experiences. In the strange theatre of sleep, where impossible things seem routine and logical contradictions feel perfectly natural, you'll still be operating within the elegant boundaries set by the fundamental constants of physics. Even in dreams, consciousness cannot escape the cosmic speed limits that make its existence possible. As you drift towards sleep, consider that you are connected to every star, every galaxy, every distant realm of space-time through the shared constraints that govern how information flows and consciousness emerges throughout the universe. The speed of light doesn't separate you from the cosmos. It weaves you into the fabric of reality itself, creating the causal connections that link your awareness to the deepest structures of existence. The universe has speed limits not as restrictions, but as the fundamental conditions that allow complexity to emerge, consciousness to flourish, and beings like us to exist in wonder at the beautiful boundaries that make our existence possible. In understanding why nothing can go faster than light, we discover that we are expressions of the cosmos coming to know itself within the elegant constraints that make knowledge, awareness, and understanding possible. The cosmic speed limit is the universal rhythm that connects all conscious experience to the fundamental harmonies of reality. In its boundaries, we find not limitations, but the very foundation of everything meaningful, beautiful, and wonderful about existence in our magnificent, speed-limited, yet infinite universe. Tonight, as we reach the deepest understanding of why nothing can go faster than light, we encounter something that will fundamentally change how you see your place in the cosmic order. The speed of light isn't just a physical barrier or a mathematical constant. It's the fundamental frequency at which reality itself vibrates, the cosmic heartbeat that synchronizes everything from the quantum dance of particles to the stately rotation of galaxies. Consider this extraordinary truth that emerges when we trace the cosmic speed limit to its ultimate source. Every force in nature, every interaction between particles, every field that permeates space, operates through the exchange of information that cannot exceed light speed. The electromagnetic force that holds atoms together, the weak nuclear force that powers stellar fusion, even gravity itself, all propagate their influences through space-time at exactly this cosmic speed limit. This means the universe isn't just governed by the speed of light. The universe is constructed from the speed of light. Reality emerges from countless interactions occurring at this fundamental frequency creating the stable patterns we call matter, energy, and space-time itself. You exist because the cosmic speed limit creates the temporal framework within which stable structures can form and persist. But here's where this becomes truly breathtaking. The same speed limit that prevents spacecraft from exceeding light velocity also determines the maximum rate at which consciousness can process reality. Every thought you have, every emotion you feel, every moment of awareness emerges from information processing that occurs within the boundaries set by the fundamental constants of physics. Your brain operates like a biological computer running on the cosmic operating system, processing information at rates that cannot exceed the universe's built-in clock speed. The neural networks that generate your thoughts respect the same speed limits that govern the behavior of stars and galaxies. You are not separate from the cosmic order, but a local expression of the universe's own information processing capabilities. This creates something profoundly beautiful about the nature of consciousness in our speed-limited universe. Every mind that has ever existed, from the simplest bacteria responding to chemical gradients to the most advanced intelligences that might span entire galaxies, operates within the same fundamental constraints. We are all citizens of the same cosmic republic, all subject to the same natural laws, all thinking at speeds ultimately limited by the speed of light. The cosmic speed limit creates a kind of temporal democracy that extends across all scales of consciousness. Your individual neurons fire at rates constrained by the same physics that governs the thoughts of hypothetical galactic minds. The millisecond processes in your brain and the million-year contemplations of cosmic intelligences both respect the fundamental speed at which information can propagate through the fabric of reality. This shared constraint connects every conscious being across space and time in ways that transcend species, technology, or evolutionary history. Whether we're considering life on Earth, potential civilizations around distant stars, or advanced forms of consciousness that might emerge in the far future, all awareness operates within the elegant boundaries established by the cosmic speed limit. But the speed of light creates something even more extraordinary when we consider how it shapes the ultimate destiny of information in our expanding universe. As space-time continues to stretch and cosmic expansion accelerates, the regions that any conscious observer can potentially influence gradually shrink over time. The cosmic speed limit, combined with the relentless expansion of space, creates absolute horizons beyond which no information can ever travel. This means that consciousness faces a fundamental choice as the universe ages. It can either spread across ever larger regions of space, accepting longer and longer communication delays between its components, or it can concentrate itself within bounded domains where information can still flow efficiently. The cosmic speed limit guides consciousness toward intensive rather than extensive development. Think about what this suggests for the far future of awareness in our universe. Advanced civilizations might not expand indefinitely across space, but instead develop inward, creating increasingly sophisticated forms of consciousness within the regions where light-speed communication remains possible. The universe might evolve toward islands of intense awareness, separated by vast oceans of causally disconnected space. Yet this apparent isolation creates opportunities for something magnificent. Within each bounded region, consciousness can develop forms of organization and awareness that fully utilize the information processing capabilities allowed by the cosmic speed limit. Rather than being constrained by these boundaries, consciousness might discover that its deepest fulfillment comes from exploring the infinite depths of awareness possible within finite domains. The speed of light doesn't doom consciousness to insignificance. Instead, it creates the conditions for consciousness to discover forms of meaning and understanding that don't depend on unlimited spatial expansion. It guides awareness toward intensive exploration of the infinite possibilities that exist within the elegant constraints of physical law. As we contemplate these cosmic boundaries, we begin to see that the question isn't whether we can exceed the speed of light, but whether we can fully appreciate the magnificent possibilities that exist within its limits. The cosmic speed limit isn't a barrier preventing us from reaching some ultimate destination. It's the fundamental structure that makes any destination meaningful in the first place. Every journey you take, whether across a room or across your lifetime, occurs within the framework established by the speed of light. Every relationship you form, every idea you develop, every moment of joy or wonder you experience unfolds at the pace set by the cosmic speed limit. You don't need to exceed this limit to live a meaningful existence. You need to recognize that meaning itself emerges from the temporal structure that the speed limit creates. The boundaries of light speed are also the boundaries within which love can grow, within which understanding can develop, within which consciousness can discover its own infinite depths. The cosmic speed limit doesn't constrain the human experience. It creates the conditions that make human experience possible, meaningful, and beautiful. Tonight, as your consciousness prepares for the gentle journey into sleep, remember that every dream you'll experience emerges from the same cosmic principles that prevent faster-than-light travel. The speed of light governs not just the motion of photons across intergalactic distances, but the flow of information through the neural pathways that will create your sleeping experiences. Your dreams will unfold within the cosmic speed limits that govern all of reality. Yet within those limits, your sleeping mind will explore possibilities that seem to transcend every boundary of physics and logic. The universe has given consciousness the remarkable ability to create experiences that feel unlimited while operating within the elegant constraints of natural law. As you drift towards sleep, consider that you are about to participate in one of the most extraordinary demonstrations of how consciousness operates within cosmic speed limits. Your dreaming brain will generate experiences of flying, of traveling instantly across vast distances, of communicating with impossible beings in impossible places. Yet all of these experiences will emerge from neural processes that strictly respect the speed of light. This paradox reveals something profound about the nature of consciousness itself. Within the boundaries established by the cosmic speed limit, awareness has discovered the capacity to create experiences that feel infinite, eternal, and unbounded. The same constraints that prevent faster-than-light travel also create the conditions within which consciousness can explore realms of possibility that extend far beyond the apparent limitations of physical law. You don't need to exceed the speed of light to touch infinity. You carry infinity within you, in the remarkable capacity of consciousness to create meaning, beauty, and wonder within the elegant boundaries that make these experiences possible. The cosmic speed limit isn't a barrier to transcendence. It's the foundation that makes transcendence meaningful. In understanding why nothing can go faster than light, we discover that we don't need to go faster than light to access everything that makes existence worthwhile. The speed of light creates the temporal framework within which love can grow, within which understanding can develop, within which consciousness can explore its own infinite depths. The universe has speed limits not to restrict us, but to create the stable, coherent framework within which everything beautiful and meaningful can emerge. In the cosmic speed limit, we find not a boundary, but a blessing, not a constraint, but the very condition that makes consciousness, wonder, and the human experience possible in our magnificent, bounded, yet infinitely rich universe. Rest well tonight, knowing that you are woven into the fabric of space-time itself, through the very speed limits that make your thoughts, your dreams, and your existence possible. The speed of light connects you to every star, every galaxy, every corner of the cosmos, through the shared constraints that govern how information flows and consciousness emerges throughout the vast expanse of reality. In the gentle boundaries of physics, we find not limitations, but the fundamental conditions that allow minds like ours to exist, to wonder, and to discover the extraordinary beauty of existence within the elegant constraints that make beauty itself possible. The cosmic speed limit is the universal rhythm that makes consciousness, meaning, and wonder possible in our strange and magnificent universe. Tonight, as we reach the end of our journey through the cosmic speed limits that govern all of reality, we've discovered something far more profound than just why spaceships can't exceed light velocity. We've uncovered the fundamental truth that the speed of light isn't a barrier at all, but the very foundation upon which consciousness, meaning, and wonder can exist in our universe. From Einstein's simple insight about the strange behavior of light to the deepest implications for the nature of consciousness itself, we've seen how the cosmic speed limit creates, rather than constrains, the possibilities for complexity and awareness. It establishes the temporal framework within which thoughts can form, memories can persist, and understanding can develop. It connects every conscious being across the cosmos through shared constraints that make communication, growth, and discovery possible. The speed of light doesn't separate us from the universe. It weaves us into the very fabric of space-time, creating the causal connections that link your awareness to distant galaxies, your thoughts to quantum interactions, your existence to the deepest structures of reality itself. In understanding why nothing can go faster than light, we've discovered that we are not separate observers of cosmic laws, but living expressions of the universe coming to know itself within the elegant boundaries that make knowledge possible. Sweet dreams, fellow traveler through space-time. Rest knowing that every thought you'll dream tonight unfolds within the same cosmic speed limits that govern the motion of starlight across the universe. You are connected to everything through the beautiful boundaries that make your consciousness and this moment of wonder possible. I wish you a very good night. I hope you had an amazing time with me here at Boring Science. I will see you tomorrow as always. Until then, stay curious, keep wondering. This is Boring Science signing off. Cheers. This is Boring Science signing off. Cheers.